ho ho. Merry Christmas.
Schedule.
Hey! Your upload schedule is whack as shit.
Okay. I know my uploads are really badly spaced out. And I don't think this is new news, seeing as how I've brung it up myself on many videos. I've always said how I have videos in the works, but then 5 months passed by and wow, when the hell are those projects going to come out? But this Christmas, I'm going to gift you guys with, drumroll, higher channel quality. This can be seen with the use of my voice for audio, character sprites that you're looking at right now, and a soft promise of 13 damn videos! Including this one. And these will all be Danganronpa themed! Hey. These videos will essentially be narrated speed paints of 13 of the 16 DR1 kids as demented demons, describing the monster design, art process, and my overall thoughts on the characters and story. Now, why only 13 students? Why demons? Well, I'm currently working on a large Danganronpa project, and I'm wanting to show parts of its creation along with the final outcome once I finish. So I'm showing the most visible characters and character designs as possible to let you all see that with minimal moon spoilers. Oh, also, I find it pretty funny drawing spawns of Satan for a holiday like Christmas. So without any more rambling, let's start on creating the first demon to this collection, Sayaka Maizono. What do you think about when you think of Sayaka Maizono? Perhaps you think of her by her talent as the ultimate pop sensation. Possibly you see her as the first love interest of the protagonist, the first victim. Or maybe you see her as the biggest snake of Danganronpa 1. When thinking upon ideas for Sayaka's demon form, I knew I wanted to give her a very friendly and approachable face-front appearance. Of course, below this, there would be an underlying evil intent, similar to how she behaved in the actual game. It didn't take long after this to figure out what I wanted her demon to be based off of. A siren. Sirens in popular mythology are essentially mermaids that use their voices and attractive appearances to guide sailors to shores. Once the sailors get to a close enough proximity, that's when the mermaids attack and eat them. This seems pretty gory, but I knew it worked perfectly into Sayaka's character. She would fake an image front with her melodic voice, and then carry people close enough into her clasp to consume. Her title in hell would be known as the Siren Demon. This illustration shows how I'd imagine her nice persona would slowly fade as she gains more and more hunger. Her face is probably the most notable part of this transformation. The right half is what she would portray to those she would want to gain a hold of. The left half is what her true monstrous hunger-induced form looks like. This demon series plans to show illustrations of a sort of transitional stage from a casual demon form to an ultimate demon form, which I'll explain the lore of a bit later. When looking upon the left side of her face once more, it's easy to see how truly demented it is. She has quite the enlarged mouth that extends far to give her more room for her jaw to open and for her teeth to fit in, which they still hardly do. Speaking of her teeth, they are very grotesque and they curl up into her face. This of course allows her to eat her victims in ease, along with providing a very claustrophobic appearance. She has plentiful amounts of saliva drooling from her mouth, hinting at the intense hunger she has for the viewer. When it comes to her eyes, though one is normal and cute and inviting with a heart, the other one is rolling into her skull and is no longer enticing the viewer. When it comes to her body, her posture is slightly hunched and curled over, giving off a feeling that something is off, especially paired with the fact that her face is so excited and upbeat. Her hands are off as well, having very sharp nails and fingers and thumbs curling upwards. The outfit I had chosen for her is her performing outfit. This is what she would typically be seen in with her pop group. Her pop group would be composed of other demons, though I'd imagine that they are substantially less powerful in combat. Sayaka serves as the leader of this group, being one of the most manipulative and strongest fighters of them. Though her outfit stays pretty consistent with the original art, I made a few small changes. For the lowest layer of her dress, I made it have a tattered appearance. I did the same to all of the bows shown in her outfit. This would hopefully create a slightly unkempt appearance. Moving on to her hair, it becomes clear that it is split similarly as to her face. The right side flows simply and wavily, being tied with a simple black hair tie. This is of course opposed to her left side, which is scattered and jagged, tied with a barbed wire appearing hair tie. I have also illustrated her with other magical elements. This can first be seen with the mic box in her chest that echoes her hypnotizing voice further directly from her vocal fry. She has a microphone in her hand as well, which provides a similar purpose as the mic box, though it is attached via wire to an outlet as a naturally manufactured made microphone with less effect but better show-wise and in casual demon form. Let me explain the forms just a little bit more here. In this universe of hell, there are such things as a casual demon form, a full demon form, and an ultimate demon form. A casual demon form takes up substantial energy to keep up, but it is more pleasing to the eye and is more practical than a full demon form for day-to-day life. There's also typically less ridicule assigned to those who keep up a casual demon form front. The right side of Sayaka is her casual demon form. The next demon form is the full demon form, which takes up little to no energy. Though it is impractical for mundane tasks, is especially unpleasing and deserves the most ridicule, as seen amongst other demons. It is seen as ridiculous, grotesque, and causes especially low self-esteem to those who keep the front up. The final demon form is known as the ultimate demon form, which takes substantial energy to keep up. It is more intimidating in appearance and is the best choice for combat, and the goal is always to harm or to protect, taking up most energy out of the system. That about explains the basics of the 3 demon forms. I hope that was useful. Traveling back to the original topic, another magical element seen in her design is wires protruding from her hair. These wires mix and blend in with her already dark hair, along with the wires of the sets and microphones around her, such as the ones she is seen using with her performance, along with the hypothetical band's wires and microphones. Due to these factors, when the wires first appear, they are subtle. These wrap around her victims to grab and suddenly entrap them in Sayaka's grasp after voice hypnosis. It should be noted that Sayaka can't continuously keep on singing, and when she's about to eat, she cannot sing, which means that the spell will be temporarily broken, and so to make sure her victims don't move, along with consumption convenience, she entraps them with wires for the final bite. That about wraps up her design, finally. Now, if you want to know my opinions on Sayaka Maizono, I don't think she's a snake. I know I said some people see her as a snake, and I know that drawing her as a siren may give that image that I agree with them, but I mainly just drew her as a siren because she's a singer. Now, I will explain a bit more about the background to this whole snake allegation for those who aren't familiar with Danganronpa. This is a huge spoiler warning for Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. In the prologue, in first chapter of Danganronpa 1, Makoto, the protagonist, meets a girl which he had recognized from middle school known as Sayaka Maizono. She was the ultimate pop sensation, and even before Hope's Peak High School, she had been famous and busy, so when she was able to remember Makoto from grade school as well, that put him in a shock, and both of them seemed to fall for each other. Then, Monokuma, the headmaster and main antagonist entrapping the kids into a school killing game, set out the first motive to kill, this being a separate recorded video per student which they each watched to their own leisure, taking a part of their life that was most important to them, such as Makoto's family, and ruining it in an awful and ambiguous way, such as how where Makoto's family was in the photos shown, there was now nothing left except abandoned and destroyed furniture. The end of the video would then promise that if one student were to take the lives of another and get away with it, they could graduate the school and find out what happened to their beloved. After watching her own video, Sayaka gets extremely upset and runs away from the room in which the students are watching their tapes, only for Makoto to run after her and attempt to comfort her in his arms. Later that night, when it is past bedtime, Sayaka would knock upon Makoto's door in fear, claiming that she heard someone attempting to unlock her dorm room, which would lead Makoto to agreeing with Sayaka to switch rooms for the night, for her safety. Even though this precaution was taken, in the morning, Makoto would find Sayaka's body in his original dorm shower. In the class trial, an event taking place after everybody discovered an investigation of the crime, it would turn out that though she was murdered by another student, Sayaka's original plan was to, in fact, murder that student and pin it on Makoto. This is why she switched rooms with Makoto, not to be safe from someone trying to break into her dorm, but rather to call a student over to Makoto's room to murder them. This of course backfired, with the student murdering her instead, and she passed from blood loss in her lover's bathroom, leaving a dying message behind. 11037. Now from this, it makes sense why some people might see Sayaka as a snake. She had faked her sweet and sympathetic appearance in Makoto's face with the knowledge that he'd fall for her charm. She used her power to trick Makoto into indirectly framing himself. She not only lied and pretended to be an innocent sweet girl to Makoto, but also to her victim, which though they would not be murdered through her own hands, they would later in this post-trial execution. With all of that being said, here is why I find Sayaka to be innocent of her snake title. Okay, she did fake her last interaction with Makoto, but up to that point, she seemed to be mostly truthful, sharing a lot of compassion and love with him. She was in a desperate situation of a killing game, with her closest friends and band put into an unknown and troubling dilemma, so she reacted haphazardly and without thought. She did abuse her charm for the instance of murdering, but nearly all of the other Danganronpa Blackens used the exact same method to plead their innocence. So yes, it was negative, but to single Sayaka out as one snake amongst the bunch using that logic doesn't make too much sense in my opinion. Every character has made large lies in certain small or large instances in the game, even the protagonist, Makoto Naegi, though I can understand how Sayaka's intentions with her lie may differentiate her from other completely innocent characters. Though Sayaka had framed Makoto, regardless of his feelings towards her, he would possess the ability to break through the trial. Every case has many holes in the Danganronpa universe, and Makoto has been able to break through them nearly every time. With Sayaka's naive and desperate plan, and her only proof against him, granted it's somewhat substantial, is that the murder would have occurred in Makoto's room. With other gathered evidence, such as Asahina's account describing how Sayaka did go into the kitchen during late hours to obtain a weapon, the case would be fairly simple to break through for Makoto, though it may cause some sense of betrayal and sadness for Makoto, but no matter what would have happened to Sayaka, that factor would most likely stay the same. Makoto would be framed in later chapters, as to be expected, and though they could be considered to be very emotionally driven cases, Makoto has been able to begrudgingly break through them, even if he's had to suffer as a result. This all proves the strengths of Makoto Naegi, and how one simple trial caused by Sayaka will not be the end of him. Lastly, I'd want to note that Sayaka was hesitant to pursue the murder of another student most likely because of her feelings towards Makoto. During the first trial of Danganronpa 1, it would be stated that her hesitance to commit to the stabbing of another student would lead her to postponing it, to only be pushed into a corner to then be killed. She lay dying in Makoto's shower from a stab wound, and in her own blood left the message that seemed to first spell out 11037. This messy and rushed transcript would end up being one of, if not the most important piece of evidence to determine the culprit in the trial. The other students would later describe this event of hinting the culprit as the victim as an act of Sayaka's humanity, and her feelings of Makoto being so strong that even when her plan had failed to such a dramatic degree, and even when she was bleeding out, she couldn't get him out of her mind, and had to return his kindness with a disturbing note of her own. Wow, that was quite a lot of conversation about Sayaka Maizono. I hope you enjoyed my illustration of her that you might have been watching be created. Overall, I find Sayaka to be a deeply misunderstood character, and not the villain she's often portrayed as, but quite the contrary, being a desperate girl put into a desperate situation and behaving desperately in response. But her care for others, which was her motive to kill, would end up being the very same thing that would fuel her hesitance and death. What are your opinions on her? What are your opinions on this monster design? What are your opinions on this format of video? Let me know. Anyways, I will hopefully be seeing you all soon, and with that, I wish you all a very merry holiday. Goodbye!